Dun, 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 depending if you want
Have
to
you
do it.
got a second phone?
I have now got.
Yes, Damo. You're like Paris Hilton. A Christmas pres.
No, I just went. I dropped my phone down the toilet, and as it hit hit the toilet, I just saw it smash and go into the toilet whilst I was taking a pee, and I was like looking at it, being like, "Do I have to flush it now?" So I did. I flushed it, then took it out, and it was like mullered. Hey monkeys, how you doing? Damian Keys here. Welcome to the hashtag Ask Damo show number 100. With me as always is Melissa.
Hey,
It's
2018 edition.
It's 2018. How are you finding 2018 so far?
I'm loving it so far. How about you? I'm excited for a new year.
I am very excited. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Well, actually, I joined a gym yesterday, so I'm on it. How about you? It'll probably last for a week.
Do you know, I really like New Year's resolutions. And do you know what I really don't like is when people diss it and just kind of go, you shouldn't need a New Year's resolution to start something. And I'm like, oh. Because I really like it. I think it's really
nice, like, kick of motivation, you know.
Yeah, my whole New Year and my 2018 is going to revolve around one word: communication.
Okay.
So 2018 is going to be big because I'm starting a new business and potentially buying another business, and so just getting my head around the logistics of the whole thing is really, really difficult. And the only thing I can think of in order to be able to organize myself in any way is that my communication in general is not good enough, and so everything's going to revolve around how I can communicate better.
And how do you think you're going to do that?
I'm going to get a tattoo which just says communicate. That's it. Tell people shit.
Every time you forget, just
yeah. Casey Neistat has that, doesn't he? He just says do more on his own. Yeah, do more. So yeah, that's kind of that's what my New Year's resolution is, to just communicate, try and be more. Every year, one of my New Year's resolutions is to be more organised. Every year I fail immensely badly at it. So.
One of these years.
Yeah, one of these years I get it. So do we have some questions?
We do indeed.
Do you know what? We have questions. We don't have any stuff.
No,
we didn't have any Christmas presents. Oh, I did have a card actually, which is
somewhere.
Is next door, which I should open on. I'll open next, but it'll be a Christmas card. It'll be a bit late.
Yeah, we like delayed Christmas.
So, but yeah, no, we need Christmas presents. We need more stuff for our wall. Come on, this is the time.
Yeah, we still have so much space.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I want stuff. Send your stuff in. The address is below.
Okay,
right, let's do this.
Question number 1.
Okay.
As a single mum, how can I put myself out there and break into sessioning? And this is from Jacqueline in Australia.
Jocelyn, okay,
I read that wrong. Yeah,
Jocelyn. So I've known Joss for years. In fact, Joss actually used to be on the radio show with me.
Oh, no way.
About 10 years ago, and then she moved to Australia, and she got in touch. So she's a mum now, and she wants to break into being a session singer, living in Australia. And she's like, well, you know, a lot of the content that I have is people in college, just out of college. What happens when you're a single mum? You can't just go out and do gigs all the time. You can't just leave the house all the time. But there is good news, because now is such a good time for it, because you can get so much attention and you can do things with literally a phone. You know, and this is what we talk about, and this is what this channel is about the DIY side to it. And the good thing with being a single mum, I think, is you will relate. One thing we talk about quite a lot is demographic. And I think when it comes to demographic, being able to tell your story, people will really relate to that. Now, going into session playing as opposed to an artist is still a similar thing. You know, I would look at skill set. One of the big things for me is how cheaply you can set up a recording studio in your house, like really, really cheap. And there's just the world of knowledge at your fingertips on YouTube. So there's no reason why being in another country should stop you from being able to work with other artists and record for other artists without having to travel all over the world. I mean, everything can now come to you, and you can go to other places. You can contact other people without leaving your house. You can record other people's songs. So a big part of this is, again, if you saw a video over Christmas holiday, if you didn't, there should be, if we can put a link, because this is really important. I did a video of A to B with A.5 being where the questions are coming from. And that is the predominance of where most of the questions I get come from, is A.5, not A. Not this is where I'm at, I want to get to B. It's usually how do I get to B, and I'm starting from this one here. Like, for example, how do I be a session player? Well, if no one can find you, it's very, very difficult. Anyone's going to ask you to come and sing on a track, or come and sing anything. Now, Joss won't be able to just go on tours, I'm guessing, as a single mum. So we're starting to look at where her skill set's going to have to be. It's going to have to be studio-based stuff, and she's got a great voice. There's no reason why she can't do that. Maybe if she is going to go on gigs, it's probably not going to be on tours for weeks and weeks and weeks. So in which case, now that we know that, if I was her, I would be looking at how we can actually target making social media towards people that will be looking for that. So there's loads and loads of artists in the world who are writers and aren't great singers, or they're DJs and they want a vocal track. So what she's got to do is she's got to put herself out there as that person. So with the social media, whether you're picking, Facebook, Instagram, I would pick Facebook for this, and YouTube, I would be looking at doing co-writes. So before you do co-writes, going back to the beginning, we need some kind of page that shows you off at what you do. In Josh's case, a singer. So once you've got that, then you can then go to other people and say, this is me, this is my voice, I would love to do a co-write with you. Then you start doing, you find your level with people that are looking for singers, that are prepared to send you their files that you can then record in your house and send it back to them. And at that point, you start putting everything through your social media. So you're starting to build up. And then from that point, you're constantly talking and contacting people. Depending on how easy it is for you to leave the country, you can then start looking at LinkedIn is such a good place to meet other songwriters and other artists to do co-writes. But again, it needs to have this social proofing. And this is the bit that I think a lot of people are missing out. So when I was back at Bib, this would happen quite a lot. Singers would say, oh, I can't find a band. And I was thinking, oh, I can't find musicians. And I was like, how can you not find musicians? There's 1,000 of them in the building over the next 24 hours. 1,000 musicians. What they mean is, I can't attract a musician to me and what I'm doing. So you've got to take it a step back, and you've got to say, if you're going to attract musicians to you, they need to see and hear what it is that you're doing. And so from Josh's point of view, before we do anything at all, you need to find a local studio and record a couple of tracks, record a couple of demos. Then on your iPhone, go and find somewhere really, really nice and make some videos of you singing live, which you can do. And this is the content. This is the proof. This is you saying to other writers and DJs who are looking for vocalists for their track, this is me. This is what I do. You can hear what I do. Give me a chance. Let's do some stuff together. If you don't do that, then all you're doing is contacting people, and they're just going to say, oh, I've got the choice of millions of singers all over the world. So that is the way that I would suggest, if you're a single mum, you have to put more proof in, because you don't have as many options. You can't just go off and do loads and loads of gigs. You might be able to do open mic nights if you've got babysitters, but what you can do is you can do gigs every single day. And so, there's going to be a time where, if you're a single mum, depending on how old your kid is, if your kid is under 10 years old, there's going to be a time when your kid's going to go to sleep before 9 o'clock. 8 o'clock, which gives you 3 or 4 hours. I know you've got housework and other bits to do, but gives you 3 or 4 hours to be able to record a track, get a karaoke track and actually record something, just so that you're actually putting stuff out there to actually build up proof of what you do. That's the time for me, because baby's going to be up at stupid o'clock in the morning. So that 8 o'clock in the evening until 11 o'clock at night before bed is the time where you just say, well, I'm gonna doll myself up, and I'm gonna sing a song, and I'm gonna put it on my social media. I'm gonna put it out there. You don't have as much time, but that 3 or 4 hours is key.
So just sort of making the most of the time you have, I suppose. And
and
getting out and talking to people.
And without sounding harsh, I see that we talk about a lot of these things on a weekly basis. The single mum thing is just finding another way around it. It just means you can't go and do tours, but you put a video out there, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And so therefore, if I can watch it, everyone else can watch it. It's the same thing. You've got to start building an audience so that people say, oh, I love your voice. I'd love you to sing on my track. Yeah. And it just a ripple effect. You throw a pebble in the water and it goes out and out and out. But it's the same thing. You're not starting from the middle of sessioning. Can I sing on your track? Firstly, we've still got to build ourselves up as a singer and prove to the world, or prove to the internet, that you can do it, so they can watch and say, I like your voice, I want you to be a part of it. It still goes back to the very beginning. You can't jump that stage.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Build that.
Yeah, and whether you're a single mum, whether you're not a single mum, it doesn't make any difference. That stage of, you've got to put something out there that people will see and say, I want you on my track. Part and parcel of it.
Okay. So, question 2.
Okay.
Right, this is from Ian on Twitter. What should a band prioritise going into 2018?
Yeah, so...
It's a nice New Year's question.
It is a New Year's question, which I really, really like. And so I've had exactly the same thing. I took a bit of a break of social media for the last 2 weeks because I wanted to come into 2018 with a fresh plan. And I really want bands to do this. I want bands to get together as a unit and say, what is it that we want from 2018? Again, going to the end and looking backwards. Bands don't do this. It's just head down, moving forward all of the time. And I would love to see a band saying, stop for a minute. What is it that we want to achieve? Now, I'm going to start a new series of videos today, which is about releasing music, because I feel like I don't just want to make a video and say, here's a video on releasing an EP. I want to make a series of videos where we can actually start working together. And I would even like in 2018 to pick a couple of artists and a couple of bands. I'm not a manager, I'm not going to manage you, but what I will do is I'm going to consult with you, as long as you don't mind doing it via Skype on camera, and we're going to actually work on your releases for your band together, so that we can plan things, strategize it, do the social media around the distribution to get as much traction as possible. And I'll be doing some competitions so that you guys can win that, and we can work together. That EP thing, for me, it epitomizes the way bands work, because the amount of times bands will get in touch with me and go, can you help us promote our EP? Or how do I promote the EP? Effectively, I've got this, what do I do with it? And I'm like, well, you've screwed it from the start. By the way, one of my New Year's resolutions is not to swear so much.
You're doing well.
Mum. So they go, oh, I've got my EP, what do I do with this? And I'm like, well, you've kind of messed it up from the start. What I would like to see in 2018 is, if you're going to release some music, how are you going to do it? I would suggest this. Why not plan 3 EPs? Why not go to the end of 2018? There's no reason why you can't release 3 EPs in 12 months with 4 songs if you want it to be. You know how I feel about EPs. I'm not a big fan, but it doesn't make any difference what you want to call it, but releasing music 3 times in the year if you want to. So you do one in March, or in the summer, August-ish, and then one in November, should you want to. Whatever the dates are, it doesn't make any difference, but effectively where you've got 3 to 4 months apart. So what you've got then is you've got 3 EPs booked in. From there, we've already got, before anything else, we've already got a solid foundation of what we are going to do in 2018. We know that we need to write a certain amount. We know that we need to release a certain amount of music. We know that we're going to have to gig and promote and tour the EPs and the up and coming things. We've already got stories that we can put into our social media. We've already planned out the pillars of the year, rather than saying, oh yeah, we should probably go in the studio and record some stuff, or yeah, we're going to do an album, and it's like, it's just not thought out enough. So I would like, you know, we're 3 days in to the brand new year, why not plan 3, whatever you want to call them, albums, EPs, singles, doesn't make any difference, but whatever it is, 3 of these things, we'll work on them together of how we're going to release them in distribution. But I want you to go to the end of 2018, 12 months from now, and think, what are my targets that I am trying to achieve as a band? And then once you've got those, then goes to the detail. This is the big bit. When you start putting in your targets, which is we're going to want to release 3 EPs with 4 songs each. That's 12 songs, which means we're probably going to have to write 40 songs to get the best stuff. If we're going to do that, if we're meeting up once a week as a band, can we achieve that? No, You can't. You just can't do that. It's just, you know, all if you can achieve those targets, the standards are going to be low because you're just going to have to write something and put it out, and you haven't got the time for it. So you've got to be realistic. But unless we have the targets in place, we can't then go back and set the strategy and set up the time that it's going to take. So this is what I would really like to see bands prioritizing. I'd like to see them prioritizing a 12-month plan of what is it that we want to achieve in 2018, and think quite big, but think realistically, but think quite big. And I think it should be based around, if you're going to put music out there, releasing music, I want this year to be, for this channel and me helping you guys, I want this to be the year of how we work on releases, because there's so many variables. Are you looking to make money from your release? Are you looking at building your audience from your release? Or are you just looking at making content because you like to do that and you like to put it out and give it to your family because it's a nice thing to do? Each one of those things is a different answer, is a different strategy. So that is what I want people to prioritize. I want people to stop just blindly going forward and being like, oh, let's book some gigs and let's just do an EP, and it's all just stabbing in the dark. There's nothing in there which is a long-term strategy.
Okay. So we'll be looking forward to those. Okay, so question 3.
Yeah.
How important is a band website, and what should it include? It's an interesting one. I don't think we've done a lot of website stuff as much.
We haven't, no. Yeah. And I can't remember who actually asked this question, but I thought it was a really, really good question. How important is a band website? Well, it's not the most important thing anymore, like it used to be, because it used to be the only way that you could find a band. But I would have a band website, because I think if you can do something which is a small amount of work to keep it, of upkeep to keep it going, which is there, that people can put your name into Google and find you. And a website is very, very good for updates. If people want to find out where your tour is, that's a really good thing for a website. So I think a website is a really nice personal thing that you can have. Also, you can really prioritize the information that goes on there. Whereas if you look at a lot of social media, it's an ongoing content. So, you might have some great content which might get lost after 3 weeks because you're putting out gig advice or gig invites and things like that. Whereas a website, you can have the best of the best stuff that can go on there. So there's nothing wrong with that. And what's really great about a website is it's free.
Yeah.
You don't need to go and find a mate and say, you're a web designer, can you build me a website? You don't need to do that anymore. There's literally websites that you can just pick up off the shelf and you can design them yourself in 6 hours, like a day's work, and you can have a really great website. And the good thing with a website takes me back to 2006 when we had good old-fashioned MySpace.
Oh my God.
Loved MySpace because me and Tom.
You were the last two.
Just me and Tom. Have you seen Tom recently? I don't know if I've said this before.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's not looking as young as he once was.
Aww.
Love you, Tom. So MySpace was great because at the time I had a radio show and I used to say to bands, this is the information I need. I'm constantly saying it. This is the information. This is the information. What was great about MySpace was you just filled in the bit. It was like a form. So you went, here's the music, here's the pictures, here's the videos, here's where we're playing, here's our audience. And I'm like, oh good, well that's everything I need to see. Right there. It's just easy. I can listen, I can see what engagement you're getting, I can see where you're playing if I want to come and see you live. All the information is there on one page for bands. It was bloody brilliant. Now that's gone, unfortunately, but there's no reason why a website can't have a very similar thing. Just the most important information, which is the questions we always talk about: what do you look like? What do you sound like? Where can I see you play live? And then any information that you want to get across. For example, a call to action. So that was the second part of the question. What should it include? Well, what do you want to do? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to sell something? Are you trying to get people to your gigs? Are you trying to tell people about your social media? Are you trying to herd people into one place? And here's a thing which you can do with a website and people don't do with their social media. My absolute pet peeve when it comes to social media with companies, and it happens all of the time with massive companies, is they'll just have a Facebook logo and they go, come and join us on Facebook. And I'm like, why? Like, what you tell me why and I'll join you. But why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Come and hang out in my house. Okay, what are we going to do? I don't know. Just thought you could come and hang around in my house. That doesn't make sense. I want people to say, come and join me on Facebook. This happens. YouTubers are great at that. With YouTube, they say, I post videos 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. People go, good, I know what I'm going to get. I'll come and join you on YouTube because I know what I'm going to get. And so that's what a website is going to do. If you're there to promote one thing, that's the time to do it. And you know, for a lot of bands, it's going to be their tour, it's going to be their new album, it's going to be their new release. But there's nothing wrong with saying, come and join us on Facebook, because that's where our community is. That's where we talk to you guys. That's where we release our new music. It's just a way of actually pointing you somewhere and saying, this is what I need you to do. And I don't think bands do that enough. I don't think they have a good enough call to action, or sometimes there's 15 call to actions, and you have to remember when it comes to marketing, we just want one. What we're trying to do on any marketing day is we're not trying to jump to the end sale. We're not trying to sell people an album, so as soon as someone pops up on your band, go buy our album. That's not what we're trying to do, because people go, what the fuck? That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get people onto a journey to come with us, so that eventually people go, I like your stuff, I will buy your album. So for the website, I would have a website. I'd go on to wix.com and I'd build my own website and make it look really good. And it will show up, which is really important, which is where the MySpace analogy comes in. It will show up what you're lacking if you have a website, which Facebook doesn't do and Instagram doesn't do. If you put a website together, you'll literally take a step back, you'll look at it and go, we need better pictures. This doesn't look very good. We need better pictures. Or you'll take a step back and go, wow, we've got like 17 tracks and 1 video. I think we should get some more videos. And so it starts to actually dictate the things that you can look at of what you've got and what you need, and build it from there. So how important is it? I think it's pretty important still. I still think it plays a part, and I still think, why wouldn't you do it? Because it's just another, it's another way of someone finding you. It's another way to involve your audience in what you are doing and telling them what you want them to do.
And it's a good platform just for it being all about you and what you're about, I guess.
And we're creatives and we create, and that's what a website is. It's creating something pretty and beautiful that you can go there and go, oh, this is, one thing I would say if you're creating a website is, what is it that you can put on that website that's different to your social media? Instead of just saying, oh, we've got all this stuff on Facebook, I'll whack it all on the website. If you say, look, if you come to our website, what you get on our website might be different to our social media. I'm a big fan of saying, if you come to our Instagram, this is what you get. If you come to our Facebook, this is what you get. Rather than just saying, well, you like Instagram, so therefore you should come and join me on Instagram because that's your thing, so I'll put some stuff up there for you. I'd rather you say, on my Instagram, this is what I do, but on my Facebook, this is what I do. Give people a reason to come to your website.
Awesome. Okay, so final question.
Okay.
This is from Larissa. Is this the end of Logan Paul's career?
Dun, dun, dun!
So quite a current one at the moment.
Yeah, very current one. So if you missed this, Logan Paul is in all getting all elements of shit because he posted a video, a vlog, which had a dead body in it. Haven't seen the video. Not really too fussed on seeing it. I'm not a massive fan of that. Of Logan Paul. I'm not in his demographic, so I'm not going to go into the details of rights and wrongs. But what I liked about this question is taking aside the moralistic stuff or how everyone feels about it. Is this the end of his career? And the reason why this is interesting is because we are now in a time where people are in control of their career more than they've ever been in the history of the music industry. But there's always been the same thing, which is you get to the top and it's really easy to mess it up. The music industry is littered with bands that get to the top and can change their career or ruin their career in one instant. By saying one tiny thing, they can make it all topple down. And the thing with social media is we are now in control. So what happened in the past is a band would kind of build up and then you'd have all this protection around you, it being in a band back in the day. You can still go on video camera, like on live TV and say something and, but things can be taken out of context. But on the whole, you used to have these kind of barriers around you. Now you're in control of everything that goes out on top of people interviewing and taking things the wrong way. So there's the industry's been littered with people who've messed stuff up. You know, I don't want to go into details because, you know, because it's not my place to. But I could name 5 bands that ended their career in one interview by saying something, and it was like, oh, you literally ended your career today. Yeah. Now, Logan Paul, I don't think this is going to end his career, but I do think this could possibly cost him a hell of a lot of money, you know, because, and people will be watching going, well, so he should, fair enough. But from a financial point of view, Logan Paul makes his money from companies paying him to advertise and represent their company. Like, I don't know, Oreo cookies, for example. Oreo cookies might pay him $250,000 to basically just hold a packet of Oreo cookies and go, hey, I'm eating Oreo cookies. And is that good value for money? Yes, because he's got 10 million subscribers on his Instagram, you know, let alone his YouTube and everything else. 10 million. That is a lot of Oreo cookies that he could potentially sell. Is Oreo cookies going to be one of paying him for doing an Instagram post today? No. No. So therefore, he could potentially lose out on a lot of money. The thing that I find interesting on all this is there's no help, there's no assistance, and there's no training a lot of the time for these guys. Now, Logan Paul should know better because he actually was trained from doing the Disney Channel stuff. But, you know, look, 6 months back, it was PewDiePie. There was the dude who went on I'm a Celebrity or whatever it was, Get Me Out of Here, and he was out in one day. There's so many of these rise to fame and then they fall from their perch. And they haven't got, they rise to power so quickly because they've made something. Logan Paul is this guy, he goes on YouTube, everyone likes him, he's very funny, or you know, good looking. All of a sudden he's got a massive audience and everyone's like, right, you've got responsibility, and he's still a kid and he messed up, totally messed up. And so therefore he falls from grace. But no one is there saying, dude, you can't do that. That was a dumb thing to do, because he's in control. So the question for me is very, very interesting. The question should be turned into, you now have the power to be able to build something yourself, but you absolutely have the power to mess your career up in one instant, in one tweet, in the case of that kid from I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So part of it is with great power comes great responsibility, but part of it means you have to be a filter. You have to surround yourself with people. Now, Logan Paul should have had 10 people around him saying, dude, seriously, don't post that video. That is a dangerous thing. It's just not worth it. Even before this came up and we were like, ooh, this is tricky because I don't want to get embroiled in what I think about Logan Paul's video, because everyone's terrified of it. Do you know one thing that does piss me off though is when it comes to exploiting, like the next day there was about 50 reactions of how people are going, how disgusting it was, and I was like, but you're making a video trying to get views, which is what he tried to do. Everyone's trying to do everyone's trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get viewed. He obviously made a very bad decision. The thing for me is there aren't people around him. YouTube is just this thing that you're allowed to do. YouTube doesn't come along and say, post the video, we'll have a look at it, we'll let you know. But maybe there should be police. I think this is going to raise an issue because a vlog is living someone else's life. He makes a 15-minute vlog every single day so that his audience can live his life with him. So when something happens, they get to see what he sees through his eyes. He saw something, he posted it, they saw it. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, this is going to start bringing into play people's rules of what's allowed, what's not allowed, what gets posted, what doesn't get posted. But if I were Logan Paul, what I would have done is I would surround myself with not yes men. And you know, on a very, and I'm absolutely not comparing this whatsoever, but his brother did his diss track, and there was a line in it which was "England is my city," and it was like, well, England's a country, you flaming idiot, one idiot, stupid. And no one, and I saw an interview with Nick Compton, who's the guy who basically manages Team 10, which is the big Jake Paul thing. And like, no, but everyone kind of made a joke and was like, oh, we just thought he was messing around. No, you didn't. No one had the balls to say to this kid, don't put that on there, mate. That's a stupid thing to say. It's just dumb. You're just going to come across as dumb. And no one's got the balls to stick up for them because they're the biggest. These guys are superstars now. You need to surround yourself by people like the President of the United States will have people around him and the Prime Minister going, don't say that. He doesn't pay any attention. But you need these advisors to basically just go, look, honestly, I'm telling you, that's a bad idea. And you need to listen to them. And these YouTubers haven't got them. And as artists, you need those. You need someone to say, don't say that, don't post that. And so if you don't have that, you need to find them, because you are literally, the best thing is you have so much power, but you also have the power to take yourself down in a day. Yeah. Like you can end everything in one day, which is terrifying as well as inspirational at the same time. Yeah. At the end of his career, no, it's not going to be the end of his career. It will be like PewDiePie. He'll get a slapped wrist. He won't be allowed to be on YouTube Rewind next year, and he'll get more hate, and his fans will stick by him. Won't make much difference, but I think he will lose a lot of money from it.
Yeah.
So
just being careful.
Be careful. Be careful out there.
And that is the last of our questions.
Cool.
This week. So.
Good. So this week, this is what I want you to do. I want you to comment underneath. We're going to start doing more Skypes. I want to be chatting with more of you guys. So all you've got to do is hashtag 60minute win. Write Skype after it, and let's get you and I chatting about your 2018 plan. What it is you're doing, how we can actually start to strategize it and plan it and organize it. I want stuff for the wall. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people every single day go, oh, I've got an EP. And I'm like, well, send it in. Like, I'll put it on a wall. I'll hold it up in front of the camera. Send me stuff. It's like, it's the price of a stamp if you've got that stuff. Or a T-shirt or a poster or a banner, or like Dream Troll did. Paint me a picture. Do something. I'll feature it. I'll start featuring your bands. Otherwise, we're going to start making some content pretty heavily from this week. So keep tuned, subscribe, like, and see you next week.
See you next week.